Hello, I'm Henry John Griffin, and today I'm going to be talking about my overload problems and how a lot of things I don't want to do can overload my brain, which we just talked about in the last video. But this is the video of overload, and if I am overloaded, then I can take a break and I could do some deep breathing. And when we first know of the overload, that's when it becomes way too much information. And then you have to take a break. So yes, I do get the fact that overload isn't good in some circumstance, because it rots your brain and you have to take little by little, and you have to take a break because so many things that you're learning overload your brain and it makes your brain hurt. Like, for example, you don't want to do math because you're overloaded and you're overwhelming to that information that you're taking in. However, if you take in a lot of information, you could be overloaded or overwhelmed. Now I just thought of another thing that can overload my brain. Oh, I know. Sometimes using made-up words can overload the brain because it makes your brain hurt. And when you use made-up words, then people may not understand you if you're using made-up words. But a lot of the times you could be overloaded and you may have to take a break afterwards when you're done with your work. However, there are many ways to protect yourself from this, and there are many reasons that you could overload, even if you're not possibly aware of overloading. Even if you're not possibly aware of it, you could still overload. Other kinds of reasons why brain can be overloaded is too much information or just right learning. However, you could still get overloaded from playtime too. You could still get overloaded from playtime also. I heard that people got tired even when they were making videos because they were tired of just walking and making a video, which I was doing right now. As you can see, I'm starting to get tired because I'm overloading even when I'm not in school. That's what the brain can do. The brain can overload even when you're not in school and you're making a video, so that tells that you're still processing information. So yes, you can overload, because usually making videos can be considered work, and the work that you're doing overloads your brain if you let it. And more things that can overload your brain is learning some math. Now, if I was at the Kessler Center, like I was at the Kessler, and I told somebody about that cooking group complaint, which I didn't get to have more, and that I had to have one. They gave me a virus, and then this started to overload inside of my brain. So I wasn't taking it because it started to overload. When a system overloads, that means you're not supposed to be up right now. You're supposed to be resting if your system overloads. Or otherwise, you can catch sickness walking around the house with an overloaded brain. Because somebody has overloaded your system and made your system corrupted and messed up your system. Somebody has messed up your system with all these overloads and viruses. Now, I could be showing you how it got overloaded in the first place and how to avoid getting overloaded. because basically I remembered when I just started talking about the system overloading and it was crashing, and they had to take it to a technician for repair, or like they had to take it to a tech for cleaning. So yes, the system was overloaded even when I was not in school, and the system still was overloaded today. I could bet you the system was overloaded when I was at the Kessler, and even sometimes when I'm not in the Kessler. So yes, the thing still overloads. Which I am perhaps overloaded by some other thing that I'm doing. It's another thing that I'm doing. It's called making videos. And it can overload your brain a little bit. Not really. It can overload your brain a little bit. And it still does overload your brain. And sometimes the overload can get bigger. And it can start making you very tired. Because you have to do this overload video to make you not overload, because you are overloaded by all the data that you took in on a regular basis when you were at school or at the Kessler. You still overloaded your brain.